Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check, brought to you by Because Bitcoin. Happy Friday. I know I said yesterday I felt like this week has really been flying by, but holy cow, how is it already Friday? It feels like just yesterday that we woke up, or I guess we were awake for the weekly open when Bitcoin started this big rally that it's had. But yeah, no, I hope everybody has had a phenomenal week, made some money, traded well. Bitcoin is higher than last week, like I said yesterday, so it can't all be that bad, right? But I'm Snorlax. You guys know me as Tommy. I'm joined by Max Tucker and a new friend of the show, Algo Cowboy. Welcome on, man.
Thank you.
Hope you've had a great week as well. But yeah, no, I mean, real quickly before we get cooking and sharing all of the alpha that this show is going to have, guys, we always appreciate when you smash that like button before we get started. And of course, we'll bug you again, but it means a lot to us when you guys engage and enjoy our content and support the brand. So if you could hit that like button, and then we can get started. All right. So we are battling at 44K. This was the level that we talked about yesterday, right? I mean, yesterday's morning show, I kind of talked about two different levels that I feel like are capping price and then serving as a floor for price, right? The round numbers, 43K and 44K. The importance of 44K being this is the level where BitMEX and the large BitMEX whale not only de-risk their position, but also stacked an order of a bunch of fat asks. So right now that is capping price, right? And we're going to continue to watch the level, or we're going to continue to watch the reaction at this level, as it's probably important if you want to see upside continuation. Given that funding is getting pretty hot, you probably want to see bulls break through, or maybe we at least get a rotation back into 43K. And at that point, you're better off playing alt volatility. In the meantime, speaking of altcoins, Ethereum obviously did its catch up yesterday, but is doing what it's done after running for really the course of this entire year, right? Where it rips and then it consolidates and it does absolutely nothing, right? It catches up to Bitcoin after the fact, and we're still kind of waiting for that multi-day or even just a weekly candle on ETH where you look back on it and it's like, holy cow. We just had a 40 or 50% ETH weekly candle where it trended nonstop throughout. But so far, it's been limited to these 5 or 6% spurts. But I mean, you'd have to imagine we are creeping up on that moment of truth for ETH, where it is going to blast off and eventually follow Bitcoin through that monthly gap, that monthly FVG that we've had. Solana, which I love to say leads the market, had a massive face ripper yesterday. But I want to say one thing real quick is that I almost feel like Celestia is, on a multi-day or even multi-week basis ahead of the rest of the altcoin market, right? I mean, you can see Celestia printing its leg up, its breakout from its previous high more quickly than any other altcoin. And I think you saw Solana probably mimic a similar move last night. So we'll kind of see how that continues to transpire. We can look at some charts today. Of course, we're going to look at some charts, right? This is market check, but that was what I was seeing with crypto and altcoins, guys. Nothing really to talk about with equities, right? I mean, we said there would probably be some sort of buyback the other day. There was a buyback. We're going to close the week more than likely at the highs. And then next week is, I mean, it's just probably going to continue just the slow grind higher. But I'm curious to see whether it resolves in just that massive upward impulse that Bitcoin's vertical accumulation ended with. Maybe we see something like that from equities over, into the end of the year. But that's enough of rambling for me. We do have a guest on. I would love to see what everybody is looking at in the markets. And how are we doing, guys?
Yeah, guys, good morning. Good morning. Hope everybody's doing well. I know it's a Friday, guys. I know it's a Friday. Usually it's a little bit slower, but we got to hammer those likes. Because it's a Friday, we got to hammer those likes. Right now, we got 10 likes on the video. Slow crowd today. Slow crowd today. I know it's going to ramp up, but we need at least a 1-to-1 ratio. So, guys, if you are here, if you are excited for the Friday stream of Market Check, if you are excited to hear from the team and our special guest today, Mr. Algo Cowboy, hit that thumbs up button for us. There's a direct correlation, a very positive correlation. The more likes on the stream, the more people jump in, we grow more, You guys get better content. It's a win-win-win for everybody. So please hit that thumbs up button. Furthermore, another big thank you to all of you guys. We just hit 3,000 subscribers yesterday, or maybe the day. It might have been overnight, early yesterday. But we sliced through it like warm butter. We're now at like 3,015, 3,016, something like that. We were tracking and cutting in on 3,000 for quite some time. So seriously, thank you guys for the support on a daily basis. And just a reminder, maybe you're new here, maybe you came from Twitter, maybe you found us on the YouTube Explore page. If you are new here, this is Market Check, brought to you by Because Bitcoin. It's our daily live show. We talk TA, we talk narratives, we talk charts, whatever. We talk everything. We have a bunch of fun here. We are live Monday through Friday at 10:50 a.m. Eastern time. So if you are new here, please consider subscribing to the channel as well. But anyways, TIA is an absolute meat grinder, guys. It's an absolute meat grinder. It's a very difficult coin to want to trade perps on. I mean, if you're scalping it, if we're talking like, if you're real good and you're down here on the 5-minute chart, these are some serious moves. I mean, big moves. But trying to swing trade this thing on leverage, oh my gosh. I can speak firsthand on that. I've been in a trade since down here. The Because Bitcoin Discord and community largely entered down here on leverage. It was supposed to be just kind of a little day trade, but with how ETH was looking like it was going to coil and move up, I figured, all right, maybe we just get some altcoin pumps across the board. And I've tried to turn it into a swing trade, which has psychologically been a mistake. We will see if it turns out. We'll see if it turns out okay. But I do have stops at break even at this point, so this is the entry. We're stops actually mean a couple cents in profit, but my thought here is that we really should not come back down to this region if we're going to be bullish here. It's a little bit choppy, right? But I have to view this area as, this was our previous range, previous consolidation. What is this? That is not my range. I don't know what that is. I have to view this as a previous range. We caught the breakout. This region, this green area, transition zone, previous resistance should now be support. We really should not come back down near my entry if we're going to be bullish here. I guess time will tell, right? Time will certainly tell. But, I think where somebody tweeted this, I think, or maybe somebody said it in our Discord. TIA it's a spot coin for a lot of reasons. Like you want to have this as a spot bag. One, because trading it on perps is a nightmare and funding can get kind of expensive. And two, Sol airdrops have been popping off like crazy. You don't even want to know about the Celestia airdrops that are coming. It's probably a much greater benefit to hold spot, so you don't have to deal with the psychological torment of holding leverage and something like this, which is a meat grinder. And two, you can be the beneficiary of free money if and when that time comes, which I think it is coming sooner rather than later. But yeah, anyways, I mean, this is just disgusting. But I do think I would contend that if we start to move up here and you see us break above this mid-range, which is about $10, then I think it's just blast off season. So if by some grace we can hold here, hold our range low, we don't break back into the previous range, which we'll see, we'll see at this point, then I think you're talking about seriously higher prices. On the flip side of that, for Celestia, I think if you lose this region up here, you're not just talking about coming back to, 860, 870. I think you're probably talking about coming back into this region right here, like 7.5, and retesting this previous high, then I think you're looking at something like this, which in my opinion would be a very good long. If you did something like this, then I think, you retest that previous, very pronounced high that was set, and then you start moving up from there. But yeah, I mean, it's been a difficult one to trade for sure, but I think if you lose this this 920, 930 region, I mean, it might come 750, unfortunately. But
Max, we gotta address this.
Oh no!
Oh man,
is that real?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, no. I think it was a glitch, but
Fill the wick.
Fill the wick, right? Fill the wick.
No.
This
all
is
gas
on
have been
the.
filled. It's send it only. All gas have been filled.
Will, you are the wick filler.
No, that wick was to fill all the gas. Now we just go up.
Yeah, that was the Phil Tucker. We're good, man. That was the retest.
No, we just keep going up.
Yeah, here, let me show you, man. Go out to go to like the 4 hour for me. Okay. A little bit, pull it up a little bit. Like so I can see more price action down to the like before the vertical accumulation. Okay. Put it in log for me. Okay, let's draw a trend line from the low set on like the 16th, maybe. Yeah, is that October 16th? The low. That area, but the low. Yeah, now draw it all the way up diagonal. Draw a diagonal all the way up through the vertical accumulation. Yeah, see, perfect. Yeah, except maybe adjust where your trend line starts. So it's like it's at the.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like right there. Yeah, see, we just got a retest, man. That was the dip. No worries. We don't need to fill that. We're all good. Yeah. Look at that. Yeah, there you go. That's perfect.
No.
Oh my God,
man.
Well, I was thinking we might do something like what Orty did later this week, which is where it dumped pretty heavily relative to structure, and then like Dalai Lama the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just sitting here waiting. If something like that happens, I'll be the buyer. It's fine.
Yeah, because I'm with you, Will. I think when we do get a flush, there's immediately going to be a long on it that's like just as juicy, probably better for given what it does to alts.
Yeah. I mean, so that was the Binance USD, right? Like a pair that no one actually trades. Like,
that was the Binance spot for Binance US.
No, Binance, but it was the USD pair.
Oh no. We don't count that. We don't
count that?
I would count the Coinbase chart for USD, but I don't want. No. I don't think so.
No. Well, then we're good. We're all good.
Yeah. We're good there.
We're good.
So,
we're gonna pump.
I want to talk about this real quick.
Yeah, take it back. My chart looks not good right now.
Should I pull a Tommy and steal it?
Yeah, steal it.
Wow, man.
Okay, so here's ETH on the left, guys. We know that, looking at the ETH BTC valuation, and also knowing, contextually that Q4 has historically been a really poor quarter for ETH. So here's ETH, here's Bitcoin. I would argue that ETH and Bitcoin it's not perfect, right? But I would argue that ETH right here at 2352 is probably equivalent to Bitcoin, like somewhere around here. Like the blast off on ETH has not occurred yet. I would argue that we're somewhere around there. I really would. What do you guys think?
I like that. The only concern I have is, and we've been talking about this over in one of the chats with Tucker, and this is, you guys can call me Nick if you want to. I'm doxxed. It's just Algo Cowboys, the moniker, right? But basically the concern is tax loss season. So are we going to see in the next 2 or 3 weeks the beginnings of the move down for tax loss season when the Santa rally ends? And if Ethereum is lagging behind Bitcoin, how long is it going to take to catch up? We've seen a nice day so far, but I'm kind of cautious. I mean, I've got some decent longs on, but I'd be a little bit cautious, raising stops a little more aggressively than usual, just based on the calendar. So, but otherwise, I like what I'm seeing.
We were talking about a tax scenario as well, where the hope is that a lot of people that have had good years, given that equities are way up and also crypto's way up off of its yearly opens, that basically the men behind the curtain.
They front ran. I think they front ran. I think the dip you saw prior to September, because everybody was expecting the dip in September. I think that was the front run of the tax loss harvesting.
Well, what I
I
was
don't
going to
think.
say is that there can't be that many people sitting on, big losses to take given the direction of the markets this year. And my hope is that they can keep markets elevated through the first of the year so that people can incur that tax liability in 2025 rather than 2024.
Yeah,
maybe we
if they can keep it above cost basis, then there won't be any incentive to try for
Right.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would imagine cost basis is significantly lower than where we're at now, given we're basically at yearly highs on both Bitcoin and ETH. So
Yeah,
I mean,
and I think your thesis is good too. Like, everybody expected that dump that never happened, so that's a good thesis.
yeah, I think too. Like if we look at SPY, for instance, right? Where's your losses in SPY? You pretty much almost recovered the entire move. And a lot of stocks have ended up that way. Nvidia, like if you were looking at tax loss harvest, if anything, you got squeezed, and now you have no potential of tax loss harvesting on a lot
Well,
of
here's
these.
the deal, Will. If you're somebody with big losses on the year, you did something very, very wrong, right? Like,
Yep.
you made a grave mistake at some point. So, yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree. I mean, I think there probably aren't a ton of people that are underwater, so it shouldn't be too aggressive in terms of tax loss harvesting. But yeah,
Plus, we discussed too. The buys don't appear to be coming from traditional retail. So yeah, retail may be broke. Retail may have bought a loss and so on and so forth. But if you look at savings and so on and so forth, retailers don't have money. They don't have any money. So if they don't have any money, how can they buy? So I think a lot of this is driven through, whether it be bigger players, institutions, so on and so forth when it comes to price action. Not necessarily that that's probably the case in crypto, maybe just whales in crypto. But when it comes to traditionals and so on and so forth, and also company buybacks, companies have been basically front running retail now for almost a year, while retail's been sitting here trying to recover from basically the losses of 2022.
Okay, so I've got pulled up on the left, ETH CME. And before we get into this, guys, we started off a little slow today. It's Friday, a little sleepy. The audience has now climbed up to 43, a much healthier audience. The usual crew has woken up from the slumber, from their hibernation. But guys, the likes are in an abysmal spot. I mean, talk about lagging. We were talking about ETH lagging Bitcoin. The likes are lagging everything right now. Guys, we only have 25 likes on the stream. We got 47 people watching right now. Guys, we need at least a 1-to-1 ratio. I'm going to need you guys to do me a solid. It's a Friday. We're all tired, but it's been a fantastic week. I'm going to need a solid from you guys. Just take one quick moment. Make sure that you are signed into your YouTube account and just hit that thumbs up button for us. It does absolute wonders for the channel. Like, as soon as you guys start liking, we get more people in here. We get more people subscribing to the channel, better content. The business can grow. Every day it's an hour and a half to 2 hour long alpha dump, and it only gets better as the likes climb because it's the gift that keeps on giving. So if you guys can just do me that solid before we continue here talking about being CME gapors, hit that like button. That's a good point, Demetrios. Come on, guys, smash that button. I don't want to see you guys fondle it. I don't want to see you caress it. I don't want to see you snuggle the like button. I mean, literally, like, take your hand and smash your mouse and break your mouse hitting that like button, guys. Show the like button who's boss. Let it really know. Let it feel. Smash that like button, man. Abuse the like
I'm gonna
button.
crack the whip on the Algo Factory Club because I tweeted it, or I said this to them though. So if you're with Algo Factory, you better be not caressing. Smash it up.
You got to smash that, man. For Mr. Cowboy himself, man, you got to smash it. You got to smash it. What do you guys think about this this theory here that 2,600 for ETH is the most important level on the chart? I am a bit of a CME gap respector. I really am. You guys know that about me. I don't know what it is, but I love the gaps. Maybe it's because they have a really high hit rate over a long period of time. It's like above 90% for a fill rate on these gaps, at least for partial fills. And when Bitcoin finally reached its last completely unmitigated CME gap here, you can see that, initially we wicked into it. Everyone's like, oh, that's the top. We filled the last gap, down only. We begin to climb and curl up into it. actually flipping the gap. And then that led to the next leg up, obviously. So my question is, do you guys think that it's possible that ETH does something similar, fills its CME gap and actually flips it similarly to how Bitcoin did, which would open the door then to retesting, I believe it was like April, May. Yeah, more like April. That April deviation or April supply that Bitcoin's now testing. Do you guys think it's possible that we flip this CME gap and do something like Bitcoin did? Or is there not really a one-to-one that matters too much in this regard?
My algo says that it's quite possible.
Ooh, what do you mean your algo says it? How does it say it?
High time frame bias. So, for example, back when we all thought that Bitcoin was going to take a dump back in September as price was approaching the high 30s, my thesis was along those lines, and I was pretty public about that. Now, as that happened, and as we created that, as you see on the right-hand side where, it looks like it's the Bitcoin stairway to heaven, I call that, the higher highs, higher lows.
Mm-hmm.
As that occurred, my algos continued to stay bullish on that high time frame bias. And so I was telling people, hey, my thesis was that it was going to drop, but my algos do not say it's going to happen. And the algos won in the end. And I'm seeing the same thing with Ethereum right now. It doesn't mean it won't change.
Where are some price targets then? Like, where do your algos work in that capacity where they're prospecting future sells, or is it just, how does that work?
Sure. So I'd probably use more like volume nodes, structure. If you like, I can do a screen share and see.
I'd love that. Yeah, pull it up. Let's see it.
Oh, so he's a high time frame volume follower. Okay.
Yeah, I'm all time frames. So I look at I'll trade.
Well, I'm just
low
saying,
time
like,
frames.
everybody makes fun of me because of high time frames. That's
I make fun of you because you're old, not because you use the high time frame.
Will only trades the monthly chart, by the way.
Weekly and monthly. I take big swings.
All right, we're gonna find out what Cowboys eat for brunch, man. Cowboy's gonna cook for us right now.
Sure. Hey, I'm a degen. I will trade the 5 minute. Now with crypto, I don't like going below that. With TIA, I think you got to be smoking perps to want to trade perps on Celestia. But
hey Cowboy, I'm real sorry to interrupt you, but I have a question that literally cannot wait. Okay,
go.
What the heck is the 108 minute and 648 minute?
Okay, all right.
I can't get past that. I can't listen to anything until I know what that is.
Sure. So in my testing with most of my algorithms, when I trade crypto, I find that my personal algorithm, the best time frames are multiples of 6, starting with a 3 minute. So the 3 minute to the 18 to the 108 to the 648. I think the next one up is going to be the 5 day or the 3 day. Now my math is starting to fail. But so multiples of 6 based on the 3 minute. So that's how I come to that.
Tucker has a similar thesis, I believe. He's also a 3 minute respector.
Oh, the 3 minute, you can't beat the 3 minute, man. You can't.
No. Yeah, no, crypto degen all 3 minute all day, as long as there's liquidity, right? Like I'm not going to do that in the doldrums of August, like on a choppy market. But if there's some liquidity, yeah, I'm messing around on the 3 minute like a crackhead at 3 a.m. But with what we're looking at on the screen, like price targets, I pretty much, you could say it's part of the algo. Not really. What you're seeing now is an algo on the bottom. It's just stacking indicators, and just to dispel the idea that this is complex. It's not. It's just using different indicators together. It's creating a method. It's a lot less fancy than it sounds, right? But the point is that I would look at volume nodes, right? So we just passed a gap in volume, and everybody in crypto seems to think that these gaps like to fill. And this is called a fixed range volume profile for those who might be new to the game. And so what I do in order to construct this, I'll start from the beginning. I like to use impulses. I like to use fibs for confluence. And then I will use the fixed range volume profile to sort of determine where price may go. So this is the impulse I'm looking at. Most recent move hard down back in 22. And again, this is to Janet's, high time frame, right? And this is important. It matters. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a fib or a fib impulse here. And the retracement to your 2600 is right at the 618. It's right there. So you already have fib confluence, right? That's important. Now, to make sure that there isn't going to be a problem with that, or even possibly to determine if there is an advantage to this, I'm going to use a fixed range volume profile. Now, a lot of people use the RVP, variable range, but I like fixed range because I like to use market rotations. And quite frankly, I like to map these on impulses, right? So this impulse down, the same exact impulse down, I'm going to map that out. And there is a fair amount of volume above this area, okay? Little bit of concern. There's some gappage here, but if it can power through that towards this, and let me go ahead and make this easier to see. So ignore what's happening now. Look at the past. I know it sounds crazy, but if you look at these volume nodes, everybody I see does this. I'm going to get so much shit for this. Yeah, sorry, pardon the language. Everybody does this wrong. Okay, price is attracted to volume nodes. People think that it bounces off of them, but more than likely, price is actually going to bounce off of a lack of volume. And this is because market makers need liquidity in order to make money. And liquidity is going to occur where a lot of price action happened before. And in this case, there is a fair amount of price action in this kind of consolidation on the way down, where you have from, say, 3,100 down to about 2,800. Fair amount of price action. Now, there wasn't a whole lot, and that's why this gap exists, if you will. And CME gaps, as you said, high rate of fill on CME gaps. That's why I'm not so scared of this gap not filling. So if I were to map this gap out, I'll just go ahead and code it yellow so we don't confuse things. I would say that price is going to be attracted to this node up here. It may not make it there, but on the way up is that gap. Because it is a CME gap, I'm with you. The rate of fill on those is wonderful. If you're at an 80, 90% past rate of anything, then you're looking at a real high probability. So 2,600, in my view, is quite possible. And the algos in the high time frame will actually, I don't like to use the word confirm, but they'll support that. And now you're looking at my multi-time frame view. So this is the monthly on the right, and then you have the 5-day, which is basically my weekly. Everything's bullish, even on the daily, which is 18 hours for me. So I don't see a problem. I like 26. That's my look.
Yeah.
I will say this real quick. If I could butt in real quick, if you could never open that chart again, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Too much. His old eyes can't handle it.
Oh, wait till you see
Outside
this
of
one.
that,
This is actually this is the old algo whenever it populates.
oh my god,
my
just don't.
gosh,
Yeah.
man, that's too
So
much.
I've been
My
doing this
phone
for a
is
long time.
lagging right now.
Cowboy, I got a question for you. If you go back to the time frame we were looking at, maybe just zoom out a little bit.
I'll just zoom
You
out.
drew a fib. You drew a fib down from that like April high, I believe, to the range low. Why do you see more signal in starting your fib at that April high rather than like the all-time high to all-time low, or I guess like local low here?
You could do both. So it's all about time frames, right? So if you're this is based on the weekly. So if I was looking at the monthly, we could actually do what you just said and get even more data. I'm going to leave on the data that we have here. All right. So I'm going to ignore this gap since it's already filled. I'm going to take this off, take the fib off. Now we have this data. The blue box is where price will be attracted to. The yellow box is where normally I would look for a rejection, except that it's a CME gap. So I'm not so worried about it. But if we go all-time high in this same, impulse down, but it's like more of an impulse with like a pullback, then we could do the same thing. And we'll fib that down. 618 is at the top. In fact, it's at the top of this area. So what is this? 3,600. And then if we were to get the volume nodes, let's see what that looks like. So now you have a real strong thesis for that 2,600 being filled, because you have a lot of volume from the all-time high. And as time goes on, the higher time frame matters on the macro look. Very simple concept. And there's a lot of reason for price to head up here. A lot of liquidity for the market makers to grab. So it looks even better based on that. And yes, you can do that. And I often do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I was just curious. I've been I've been kind of checking it out on Bitcoin. Honestly, like let me see if I have it saved still. It's interesting to see how Bitcoin does on the high time frames and sort of dances around. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this up
Hey
here.
Max, who was that other savvy guy that that was talking about impulses and volume and all stuff like that too at the beginning of the year?
I have no idea, Will. I don't
I
even
don't
know
remember anybody like that. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. All right, so what we've been talking about for a while is, Bitcoin before its like major expansions upward. If you just go and you mark out, and yeah, Bitcoin here was $30, right? Take it with a grain of salt. I think this is the least important example, but from high to low, it will come back and retest this golden pocket before we get, a major bull market up. And it just does this time and time again, right? So high, bear market low, we're going to retest the golden pocket, and then we get a bull market. And we've seen this every single time where it does this right around the halving, computer's being weird, going back to last cycle too. See if I can get that to turn off. High, bear market low, retest this golden pocket, expansion. So right now I'm looking at Bitcoin and look at where we are, right? High to low. We could go up to 50K, maybe even higher, who knows? But point being is it's done this sort of every time before we get a next leg up. So I found that to be interesting how it's happened every single time we've had a parabola in Bitcoin's history so far.
Do you guys use any liquidity like maps as far as determining where price might go?
You
Liquidity
mean like
maps?
the high block?
Yeah, I like to use the kingfisher.io. So what that does is it shows liquidations. And
Yeah, I
right
use
now
that
there's a
one too.
lot of liquidations over, say, in like the low 50s and the high 40s. I'm looking at 48 to 51, 52.
Yeah, and I mean one issue I have with 48K is that it seems like such an obvious level, and it almost seems like a crowded area that everybody wants. And we know that when these areas become crowded, and again, I'm just loosely gauging social sentiment online. It seems like either we front run it or we slice through it like warm butter. Truthfully, I think that 50K is a very important level from a psychological perspective as well, just because it's that next $10,000 milestone. Oh, we hit 30K. Oh, we hit 40K. Oh, we hit 50K. I think it's important, and I also think, maybe doing some like, 50, 52, 53, 54, then, distribution, and then maybe we get a retest or something like that. I feel like it's really important. I do. I think it's going to be important to move higher than 48K or front run it. I think that it seems crowded. It seems so obvious. Like, where's the next liquidation level? Where's the next liquidity level to take out?
Max, mark out that weekly FVG at 52.5. I know
Weekly,
you can find it.
I couldn't have said that better, what you said there, slicing through. And Bitcoin has a history of punishing shorts. So I would expect slice through.
I think it's either there or we front run it.
Let me do you one
because
better.
There is a gap. Wait, go back.
Let me do you one better. It's this monthly FVG, the mid-range of it. It's the mid-range of it, 50.6.
Oh, the EQ.
Yes, sir. So right here, I'd like to see that mid-range of that monthly FVG hit. And guys, for those that don't follow this super closely, I'm going to just mark out a couple that have had some significant impacts. Look at this one. Hit the mid-range perfectly. And then we move up. This one we filled. It wasn't quite as perfect.
Filled the whole thing.
Yeah. But like this one right here, I'll show you like an inverse one, how significant it was. And actually, let me go back further. I know that this one was good too. Look where we global bottomed, right? Like right at the mid-range. I'll move down to the lower time frame so we can see it. So look where we bottomed here. 50 fib of this monthly FVG. Look where the USDC FUD bottomed, 50 fib of the monthly FVG. This was the last, completely unmitigated monthly FVG above us. Let's go to the lower time frames. You can see that initially we rejected off the 50, and then you can see we actually used it as support and grinded higher. So I like this level a lot up here. Bitcoin is really a 50 fib of a monthly FVG respector. It really, really is. And right here, this level is 50. We probably overshoot it to 51. Just a little wick, just like these did. You overshoot it a little bit, holds this support. Overshoot it a little bit, holds this support. I like that level a lot.
There's liquidations up at about 50,800 all the way up to the low 51s, just sitting there.
Makes a lot of sense. And I don't know, I don't know what happens when we get there. We'll take it level by level, but to me, this seems like a very, very obvious spot.
I mean,
Sweet
dude, if people are going to keep
consolidation.
shorting it aggressively, it's just going to keep going up. Sorry, go ahead, Tommy.
That's right.
I do think the sweep of the high of a previous 4-month consolidation is going to generate a big reaction, man. We
The
might
sweep
overshoot
of
it.
the high. Oh,
We might
yeah.
overshoot it, but I do think that the reaction from that high is going to be a pretty big top.
I mean, if we swing fail, sure, yeah, it'll be bad.
You're talking about this right here, Tommy, like this consolidation?
Yeah.
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 So he's
I mean,
talking
if
about-
we just put in a wick, even on like a weekly, if we put in a wick above 48K and close below it, it's probably going to nuke. Like, it's probably going to come back to like 40 minimum.
But see, that would be the nice pullback that everybody's looking for. The big question is like, well, I'm going to buy the dip on Bitcoin when it finally flushes 35 or 40%. It's like, okay, but where does it flush from? Do we go to 52, 53, and then we have the aggressive drop down? Like where does it come from? 35% drop from here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that could be your nuke situation. That could be your shakeout before the Bitcoin halving. Right there. It could be 53 to 35. You don't really know for sure. So it's just like, I want to talk about like high time frame, like topping patterns, right? And we've covered this before, but it seems like, all these high time frame tops for Bitcoin, this is the 3-day. You have these, these RS, bearish divergences on the RSI here. I'll draw out a couple of them. All right. Here's one. I'll mark them out with price. You see these bear divs where price makes a higher high, RSI on the 2 or 3 day makes a lower high, and we're just not seeing that quite yet. Like we're not seeing price and momentum really dwindle here. Even go back a little further, right? Like look at some of these. Here's another perfect example. All right. RSI on the 3-day, lower high, price, higher high. We see this time and time again for these, these big rallies where you see some divergences on the 2 and 3-day and weekly time frame, and we're just not seeing that yet. So at this point, I'd almost expect RSI to come down and then, maybe make, a move like this, because this is not a div. So maybe I'd expect something like this. And then another push upwards into here. And then we could put in our higher high with, a 3-day bear div. And then we see signs of momentum slowing. Just seems like everybody's so eager to try to like step in there real quick and just like, hammer Bitcoin because like, 44K is sticky. And it's like tops are formed over weeks and months. They're not formed in like an hourly candle, They take a while to distribute. And if you can sell within 5-10% of the top, that's pretty damn good, But I think you want to be careful and look for signs of momentum dwindling and starting to roll over rather than just blindly shorting it because like it feels overextended, Yeah, it's overextended. We all know that. Obviously, look at it.
Bitcoin punishes the shorts. It's known for it.
Yeah. As it should. Where's your algos prospecting Bitcoin running out of steam? You said 48 to 49 maybe, Cowboy?
No, I'm with you at like 51 because the algo itself, I'm more looking at the liquidity and the price actions. So I actually have a liquidity map if you want to see it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's bust it out here.
And guys, before we pull the map up, we got 44 likes on the video. We got 63 people watching, guys. You know the deal. I'm only going to bug you once more, but you know the deal. Guys, if you can please take one quick moment, do us the courtesy if you are enjoying the content of just hitting that thumbs up button for us. Again, it does absolute wonders for the channel. We greatly, greatly appreciate your guys' support. Let's see if we can run these likes up to 50 real quick, guys. Again, the reason that we're able to grow so quickly is because of you guys. You show up every single day and you like the content and you subscribe and you comment and you push it. So thank you guys so much for the support. And I will just request one more time, if you are enjoying the content, or maybe you're not even enjoying the content. Maybe you're like, no, I'm super bearish here. Bitcoin goes to 15K. I hate what they're saying. Well, then like the content so that it can push our incorrect opinions to more people like yourself. But yeah, guys, please hit that thumbs up button for us. And let's take a look at what Mr. Cowboy has.
We got the
Now, full
Agora
disclosure.
boys.
Full disclosure, I was like number 49. For full disclosure, that was me.
Let's go.
So
thanks, guys.
Yeah, we got it up there. Even without my help, it would happen anyway. So what you're looking at is the kingfisher.io. And I think this is a great service. They don't pay me anything. You know, I'm not one of those shillers. I just use it all the time. And it can be free. Spin this wheel, get credits. So what we're looking at on the right here, and I would explode this, but that's just what it's going to look like. The green dotted line is price at 43.9. And you can look at whatever exchange you want, multiple exchanges. I'm just going to use Binance. These nodes right here are where leveraged traders are going to stop out. Now you can do all leverage, high leverage, low leverage, but I'll just, do the whole picture here. Now, the way market makers make money is by pushing price into liquidity. In my backtesting experience, this does not happen until charts favor a move in that direction. So for example, all this liquidity down here, there's a decent chance if this stays on, the price will make its way down there. And that's right about 38 to 40,000. However, right now, at least according to my algos, charts favor a move up. And the next level of decent liquidity is sitting at 47, 48. And then right above that is sitting right at 50,800 all the way up to about 52,000, like 51.6. So, and these are, if you look at the chart, if you look at that analysis that I agree with Max that you drew earlier on that cream colored chart, that would make my eyes bleed. I got to have a dark background. I can't. I stare at charts about 12 hours a day. So long story short, though, yeah, the liquidity's there. Now, here's the thing about liquidity profiles. They change. So as trades come off, as people take profit, then these go away. So this is not something that like you look at today and make a thesis on that is not going to change. It's not a static thesis. It's dynamic. So as you approach these levels, you actually have to rerun this chart and make sure that liquidity is still there. Otherwise, that thesis is invalidated. But to say it quickly, liquidity is there. These are where people who are going short are going to stop out. And Bitcoin, that's its favorite thing to snipe is people who have gone short. So if there's a bunch of liquidity up here, market makers and especially exchange owners who make money with liquidations are going to push price there.
Now I'm seeing a good chunk of liquidity at about $75,000 there.
Wouldn't that be a shame?
Wouldn't that be a darn shame?
Shoot.
Yeah, no, you're always going to get those outliers, And these are people who are like myself. If I'm going to use one of these exchanges, I don't trade on these, but I trade elsewhere. But if I were to use these, I do like 3-5 times leverage. Like I don't need to put 50 times leverage on there. I mean, just, PSA here, if you're going to trade leverage, really, really got to understand what you're doing. If you're like a new trader, you can lose your money trading anyway, but if you're playing with leverage, you don't know what you're doing, that's dangerous. So guys like me, you're going to see these here, but they're not necessarily relevant. It's just people who use low leverage. That's all.
So Cowboy, let me ask you to dubiously speculate. We won't hold you to it. Okay.
Sure.
We are now facing Bitcoin, crypto has a very interesting backdrop right now. One that arguably it has never had before. Not to hint that this time is necessarily materially different, but the stage is certainly set in a different fashion. And by that, I mean, we do have, half a dozen spot Bitcoin ETFs that are likely to be approved in early Q1. What type of effect do you think that the approval or maybe denial or continued delay of these spot ETFs will have on Bitcoin's price, if any?
Okay, I'm a contrarian by nature. I was that kid in class that like raised his hand when no one else did, or the opposite. So a lot of people think ETF means, number go up. Personally, I think it might be a big sell event. When you have price moving up as it is, price is expanding in a very powerful way. And oftentimes at this point in the game, in the 4-year cycle, price is actually contracting. So we're in a little different of a scenario, at least on the surface, right? So we're seeing price expand, although I'm also relating that to equities. So I'm not going to get too deep into that story. To make a long story short, I think it might be sell the news. I think that what we're seeing now is a momentum building. I think they want to actually get retail and who knows who else to FOMO. And I think once you see the big FOMO event and wherever that happens, 70,000, 50,000, whatever it is, I think that they might go ahead and put out the ETF and the shorts get filled. But you know what? We don't really have a large sample size when it comes to backtesting halving cycles, right? Like when I backtest, I look at the same asset on the same time frame and I go back 200 backtest and I still do it manually. So, that takes a lot of time. When you have a sample of 3 or 4, that's nothing. So for us to say this time could be different is not really that far out of reality.
No, that makes sense. So would it be fair to assume you believe that basically as long as this ETF news keeps being delayed and kicked down the road, that the bullish speculation can continue into a potential sell the news event?
That's what I think. But here's the great thing about it. The way I'm positioned, it doesn't matter. So, it's not going to affect me, right? I have spot bags that I simply hold, and then I trade level to level, level by level with, say Tether. So it's, for me, it doesn't affect my positioning. It doesn't affect the way that I trade. But to kind of know which way the wind is blowing, that helps, and especially it helps in the day-to-day level by level trading. So that's what I think is possible. But it's as uncharted as this scenario is. If I remember correctly, when the gold ETF was introduced, I want to say it didn't go up right away. I think it was another event where, people got excited and then I think they got washed out a little bit and then it went up. So I hate to say that without being sure. But yeah, that's what you just said, sell the news. I think that's quite possible.
Are you entertaining any scenario of an all-time high for Bitcoin before the halving, which would be different than every other cycle? Or is that a pretty low, that's not on your radar?
Not on my radar.
It's on my radar. It's got a low probability attached to it, but it is on my radar.
Well, okay, let me rephrase. Everything is on my radar. If you want to get technical, right? Like anything can happen in trading. It's a very low probability for me though.
I want to share a fractal with you. It's very dubious. I attach probably a less than 5% chance that this plays out. Probably even closer to like 3%. But we really like to speculate on fractals. And let me pull this up. I have it mapped out something like this. All right, so I took this fractal from this spot over here. I was looking on the chart and I said, okay, where have I seen vertical accumulation before? There's only really a handful of times when I've seen true vertical accumulation like this, which is what we just saw for Bitcoin. We gap up, have a real breakaway candle, vertical accumulation, establish new value, blow off top, right? It's only happened, a handful of times or less in Bitcoin's history, especially in recent years. I took this fractal and I simply overlaid it. I overlaid it right here because it literally left curve. It looked the exact same. I didn't massage this at all. It was a drag and drop. It fits perfectly. So I'm entertaining a scenario where I'll drop this down, where we basically vertical accumulate, we break out, we hit that 50K region, 51, 52 that we're looking for, establish value up here rather than actually dropping. And then you zoom in, Bitcoin spot ETF gets approved January 10th. We have 2 weeks of euphoria, blow off top, and then it's a major, major sell the news event after the initial impulse up. I attach a low
90K max. 90.
Well, I don't know. Look at Tucker Nachi right here.
That is true. That is true.
I'm saying this is I map out. I mean, look at the Cowboy. Look at my side here. Look how many folders I have. I have like a million different scenarios that I map out here. So I'm
Nice.
prepared for everything. And this is one that I'm entertaining because as of right now, we're following this fractal perfectly. But at the same time, I recognize that we're talking about a potential 2x from here if this continues to play out, which to me is very, very unlikely. But it would also line up with the dates, right? I didn't massage this at all. I could see a scenario where we pump off the ETFs being approved, absolute euphoria, just manic phase. And then from there, you know, maybe we bleed back down into the 40s. You know,
Wait, Max, is that 2019 or is that 2020?
This is right down here, brother.
Look at the 2020.
You talking right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've been entertaining that one as well. I think I have that saved. I've got that one saved somewhere.
How is that one not most bull?
I don't know. I think contextually, this actually makes a little bit more sense. You know, like this is beach ball underwater phase right here. If this was all your beach ball underwater phase and it was just a very like distressed, deep value area, you know, maybe, but yeah, I mean, I like this one as well. We've talked about this. I mean, you could even take it from here, right? Let's do something like this.
No, you're gonna have to massage a bit there, Max.
You know, I'm not you, Tucker, but I'll do what I can.
You can do it.
Thank you for believing in me. I
I mean, look at that. Look at the PA.
Here, I'll change the
Just
color.
silly.
Yeah, I mean, there's
It's just
we have a very interesting backdrop right now where I actually think it makes sense to entertain a mania phase like we've never seen before. I attach a low probability to it. I really do. The trader in me is kicking myself for even entertaining such a moon boyish scenario. But I think if there ever was a time, it would potentially be now. You know, imagine if we did go up here, made a new all-time high. Everybody starts calling 100K before the halving. They say, I wasn't joking. Like, look at my tweet from, you know, this date, 100K before the halving. And then they front run 100K. We dip down to like 40 again. That's your reaccumulation spot, you know, is basically somewhere down in here. And then you have the next bull market. You know, I don't know. It's
Actually, I was going to ask you about that. So if we did see that all-time high, would that be on the way to another all-time high?
I would want to think so, yes.
And that's reasonable. And I think one thing that, I mean, this is, again, like you say, not the highest probability scenario, but what might add fuel, maybe like some support to that scenario would be monetary policy.
I was gonna say, I don't know if we could get to 90 without some printing, but if for some reason we did, and then the pullback was like, all right, recession is finally here. We nuke back to like 40K, 50% correction, call it a black swan, whatever. And then Powell just flips on the printer. There you go, 150.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So, I mean, it's not, you know, I say no because that's not the way I would trade it. But let me put it to you this way. As I said before, the way I'm positioned, this is something I can take advantage of no matter what.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's I mean, look, I'll add this into the mix for me personally. I probably won't be around, you know, super exposed to spot holdings if we do go to a new all-time high before the halving. I will have probably unloaded and de-risked quite a bit. But what I would be looking for is to sell, you know, 50K Bitcoin, 52, 53, and then play it on perps if I need to get exposure for something like this. If we get some ETF approval, absolute mania, you know, mania bid up to a new all-time high, I'll catch this move on perps. But for me, I'm expecting if this were to play out, it would be a long. I mean, you'd have to diamond hand this thing through some serious drops. I mean, a drop from it's not going to play out perfectly, right? 54 down to 45. I mean, that would be a scary drop. I'll be a Bitcoin seller somewhere up here and just get my exposure through derivatives, if this next leg up happens. But I don't really want to have to hold it that long, truthfully.
So I'm looking back on my own display here. I'm looking back at historicals, trying to look at the gold ETF approval, which I believe was November of 04. And I'm just doing a quick look. February, March, November.
Do you want to pull your screen up? You can take a look.
Sure
at
can.
It. Yeah.
Because, in the world of backtesting, this is not very much data. But the only thing that I can compare this to, as Bitcoin is compared to gold in many ways, we can apply that here. And if we look at November of 04, let me draw a vertical here. October, November of 04. So the gold ETF was announced, I believe, approved November of that. Okay. And let me just blow up another. No, I can't do that. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can. I want to verify that I've got that right real quick on a separate screen. I run like 4 screens. So
I've got a 49-inch curved monitor. It's like 3-in-1 basically.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, I got this right. Yeah, I've got a 75-inch TV as the main screen, and then two like 30 some odds below it. And all right, cool. So looking at this, you did have some upward for about 2 or 3 months, right as it was approved, if I've got this correct.
Mm-hmm.
And it was on the 1st of November. So to think that it might head up based on approval, at least to a degree for that month, that went from say 430 to 450. So it's not a huge percent, maybe 8%. And then it actually compressed a bit down to like 410. You actually didn't see any kind of a breakout. All you really saw was a consolidation from 11. So basically from November to like the following, almost a year's worth of consolidation. So maybe, 04. Yeah, it's a better part of a year. So nothing happened, and then it blew up a year later. So, this is just another look at what happens when an ETF was approved and how long it took for what we're assuming is the effects of that approval to take place. What's on the back end of that is this why it went up, or did it happen to go up because maybe some people saw the writing on the wall for the GFC, the Great Financial Crisis in 08. So we don't know that that's why it went up, but we're pretty sure that it has something to do with it. And despite whatever, there was a year's lag between approval and number go up. So just something to bear in mind.
Do we know what the lag was between approval and when the product went live?
Oh, that's a really good question. Let me see.
Because
I'd have to research that. It might take me a minute to find that.
Yeah, the actual flows are going to be what's important, I think, after listening to Uncle Joe talk about it on Spaces. Max, you know what I'm talking about?
I do, yeah.
Gold. Let's see, gold ETF listing might be a good way to look at that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look back on that. It might take me a minute to find that.
Well, what was the actual gold ETF ticker that got approved?
GLD, wasn't it?
We could look at history.
You could just find the first day that GLD.
Isn't that what you're trading, Max?
Yeah, I bought some GLD calls.
Yeah, you're in calls right now.
Yeah.
So I've got chart history for GLD going back to, it says here, November of 04. Look at that.
Okay.
So, apparently it was immediate or like 2 weeks later. So
that's a little dip on the launch.
Yeah, a little dip, consolidation. And again, so basically what I said before more or less applies.
Okay, so the moral of this story with one data point is when the spot ETF gets approved and consolidates under the initial listing price, ape that shit, boys. Deep out of the money calls.
Yeah, one data point is pretty slim, but yeah,
I'll take it.
I'll take it. Yeah, amen.
Yeah, I could see 2024 being decently sideways, honestly. And then assuming that we consolidate for a year, that would basically put the upward move starting in February of 25, which if you map out the halvings and bottoms and tops and whatnot, that should put the top in March of 25. But obviously, like you said, there's only 3 data points, and that's really not a lot of data. So I mean, if we were to start the up thrust in Q1 25, that would probably put a top like Q4 that year if I had to guess. Probably line up with some QE potentially as well.
Yeah, but one thing that I was looking at and considering too in the same range is that a lot of people think sideways, but I think it's just sideways for big and mid. I think you'll start to see slow flows into high risk, just for that FOMO factor moving into the next cycle. I think that you're already seeing positioning into very decently high risk in the stock market, just slowly dialing in. I mean, we saw it in Rivian when Rivian moved against Tesla and so on and so forth. We're starting to see these higher risk plays that in a recessionary period has a very decent amount of time or decent amount of risk to actually go out of business. But we're seeing flows start to move into those and take positions ahead of everybody else already. And I mean, at least that's what I'm seeing as far as stocks go. And I think we're seeing the same thing in crypto. We're starting to see these slow fills into, low caps and so on and so forth. And I think like sideways will be sideways for things that have ran. But I think if you're really paying attention, high risk will be the play in 2024, and that will rotate back into less risk, which would be your high caps, mid caps, which will push the markets higher, and then rotate back into speculation again. It's just a speculation play out of being able to be profitable on these bigger cap plays, and it requires way less capital for way more return for bigger players.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I undervalue those like kind of rotations, rotation like money in and out of certain like big caps, small caps. That's something I probably should pay more attention to.
Yeah, there's a lot of value in it. I tend to like to play the low, the mids, because I'm really good at catching the rotation into those. Granted, I have to be in months ahead of time, which kind of sucks because then I'm basically sitting there with no type of return. But the returns are exponential, right? Like when you start to see that money flow in, these guys move in pretty decently. They can 12x your bag, and really that's just still the floor. And then at a certain point, the market will push up once they start creating a momentum move. As far as markets go, market makers are funny, man. They're really funny the way they move in these markets, and they know how to entice liquidity even into the worst investments, the worst possible investments out there. They will entice you.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, I mapped out the halvings, and I know the current halving I think is estimated to be May of 2024. So just going, and I'm ignoring the first one. That first halving is I forget if it was Max earlier who kind of said the same thing. It's unique, but the last two, you have a run up from December to the halving. The second one, technically, it's a run up. It's more of a sideways move. So with there's not really a down move per se. I mean, that you do have this the 2020 COVID crash. So that's going to be something that's kind of anomalous, but more or less market remains stable from December to halving. So it could just be that if we don't get a sell the news event and everybody FOMOs, then liquidity enticed. So that's why I hold spot and then I trade perps. That's how I roll.
Yeah. Very nice. Tommy, what's going on, man? What are you seeing out there?
No, I've just been listening to Algo Cowboy. It's funny because he the fixed range volume profile and anchoring from impulses is very much very similar to how I like to trade and how I kind of view price action and structure. I imagine you do the same thing when you trade lower time frame and across every time frame. It's just it's a nice way to kind of compartmentalize and contextualize I think the trend and kind of where price is trading around, like strength or weakness, just around our consolidations within that trend.
Absolutely. Yeah, I do that, as you said, across other time frames just for that reason.
But I've been doing some massaging, Max, of the because I did think it was pretty interesting. Whoever brought up the fact that, what if the breakout from below 30K was essentially the equivalent to 2019 or 2018 when we had that vertical accumulation above that structure. I thought that was pretty interesting. I hadn't thought about it from that standpoint. I guess it would, I do believe in the idea that every cycle is going to be different because every Bitcoin cycle has been different, with the exception of kind of how it will trade around the halving. And I guess investor expectations kind of impact that. But, if we had a move, like if we haven't still had our 2019 type of move, I mean, at that point, it's just going to that would take us to all-time highs, wouldn't it? And then you would come back below all-time highs, theoretically speaking. I'm talking about like if we haven't had the 2019 top yet, right? We're just breaking out of that vertical accumulation pattern in May of 2019. Mm-hmm. If we are to play out that whole move, would that take us to all-time highs? And if that does happen, afterward, do we just see like this 2 or 3 year period of just chop and bleed after we hit all-time high, kind of similar to 2019?
Yes, that's basically it. Yes,
I would love that
scenario. It'd be evil.
That would be
get you to all-time high, though. Well, I guess so. The move in 2019 was 336% off the low. That would be like all-time high to the T, like to the decimal, basically. I'm looking at it right now. Like if we exactly, copied the move from 2019.
So and then 340%. Is that what you're seeing on the screen that I'm marking?
Yeah, right? Yeah. So that if you took that off the low at 15K or whatever, I mean, it's basically back to 69, like to the dot. Almost.
Interesting. So let's do 340%. Ooh, I need to compress.
We're gonna make them buy the 69K top again,
or do it from the like the actual very bottom.
But my fractal,
my bad.
But my fractal would start there. That's I think that's why he.
Yeah, but now do 300%. Yeah,
so
see, that's what I'm talking about. Like that would be the triple top into a 50% correction into a bull market. Because that's what it did in 2019. After it ripped 300%, it corrected 50 without the COVID crash.
So a 50 would take it down to about what the hell happened to my GAM box?
It'd be something like 40K. It's like it's really a minuscule move. And when you think about it from where we're at right now. Right now, if you were buying under 40, you're buying under 30, you are under the floor of where the retrace could even occur. So it's like something that you wouldn't even have to sell high to buy later. You don't have to risk it.
Is that fib adjusted for log scale?
It's that I just figured that out. It's on log, so yeah, that is that actual 50 is 50. So that would take us to 41. It's about 41.5.
That makes sense.
41.3.
Imagine all-time high before having everyone gets so euphoric.
Triple top.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's Max's thesis is looking better and better, isn't it?
It's really just a deflection to more or less get people to hop out. That's really what it is. I would think if it's going to do that, it's going to move really fast down and recover really quickly. And a lot of people are not going to get entries like they think they will.
Almost COVID crash-ish.
Yeah,
if you want to
yeah,
get
exactly.
granular with it, using the gold fractal, or not the gold fractal, but the gold example, right? If the ETF gets approved January 7th, the product goes live 30 days later, which would be February 10th, maybe. That would be, or no. Forget when the product goes live. We topped what, 3 months later, right? So maybe we top at the halving at 69K, triple top, come back down to 40, consolidate for like a year, and then rip. That would be the gold ETF thing, including this scenario to a T.
Yeah. So if I did it on the monthly,
The monthly looks really good on Bitcoin. It's really freaking good.
you take this off log. So it would be like a 3 month to the top upon approval. So we're assuming approval, what? Just
January.
So yeah, Jan
January
7.
okay. Well, this will
Yeah.
be a monthly. So basically, kind of, we'll go like this.
Yeah.
All right. So we got Jan. So a 3 month top might look something like. Let's see here. What the hell happened? Oh, here we go. So I've been using TradingView for so long, and they changed everything.
I
I'm
know
all
they
confused.
changed it. Yeah.
So something like that, like a top maybe in May or April.
Right at
And
the
then
because the halving is like mid-April, I think. So yeah, top at the halving, come back down.
To say like 41, we said basically.
Yeah, something like that. Do that
Yeah,
for
but
like a year.
But Tucker, you say come back down as if people are going to get times for entries. I don't think it's going to happen like that at all.
Will
I think
doesn't want anyone to have an entry.
Nobody's getting entries. Bro. Nobody's getting entries. All right. If you're not buying, then you're selling and you're watching. That's it.
Oh man.
So something
and
like
then
this.
up only. And then Powell just slams on the printer and just cranks QE.
Absolutely implodes the market to the upside. That's fabulous. All right.
So
I'm in
one of the
contact with a lady with white hair who works directly with Powell. Okay. And she's telling me printer time. That's what she's telling me.
actually to not joke about that. So I don't know if you guys watched the repo facility, but there was a spike in repos. So essentially, for the listeners who might not be familiar, the reverse repo window is where banks go to take short-term loans. So if somebody's in trouble, they need to borrow at maybe 3, 4, or 5% overnight, and that way they can do their business, and then they pay back plus percentage the next day. It's like payday loans for banks, basically. And the rates are usually pretty low, but there was a massive spike because the repo window became flooded, which tends to mean that there's a liquidity issue. So with that, when that is a really good indicator of stuff is going to have a problem. And so there was an article recently that described the process, and the whole stepping is on zerohedge.com between this repo issue and sometime next year, some cuts. So now cuts don't mean number go up. In fact, if you look historically at the Fed funds rate and at equities markets, interest rate cuts tend to coincide with a move down. So you would look at a washout first. And then once the rates bottom out, once the Fed funds rate actually has reached whatever that bottom is, and of course, the only people who know that are the people who are making decisions and their cronies, that's when you begin to see the market go up and the number go up. So, let's just talk about the thesis now of this ETF approval, new top, move down. Well, that could be the process. This whole consolidation for a year could occur while the rates are being cut, if they are going to be cut. And then once the bottom is hit, we see number go up.
Yeah, it would be like triple top, liquidity issues.
You would hang up there and
distribute. Recession, it's completely over, back to 40K. Everything does nothing for 9 months from that point. Rip it.
I'm so good with that though. I love it.
We could always
love it.
Yeah, we could always have some sort of like, and I just wanted to bring this up because you're bringing up the reverse repo market. We had big issues with that kind of brewing in late 2019 that didn't come to a head until almost 6 to 8 months later. But when it did, I mean, it was
I mean, we all know what happened. It was a spectacular crash, and it led to, right, the excessive money printing that generated a lot of wealth.
Yeah, so let me just show everybody where that is on the chart here. Let me roll down to the 5-day, aka the dollar store weekly.
I thought we agreed on never showing that chart.
Oh, sorry, dude. Sorry, I messed up. Don't kick me out. Let me back. So the first vertical right there. That's where we're talking about. So the repo issue happened. Was it October of 19, if I remember correctly?
I believe
might have
so.
been
It was right around Q4.
Yeah, so let's just say right there, and that's when the issues reared its head, and then the actual precipitation of that also coincided with COVID, so that may have been exacerbated by concerns about COVID. But then, yeah, we had 7 trillion printed, which by the time 7 trillion hits the commercial banks and becomes, turned into 10 times that or 20, we don't even know what 7 trillion turned into. But long story short, it went to market.
Fractionalized. Oh my
That's the word.
gosh. The loans. Oh my god. Yeah, I know what
Yeah.
you mean by that. Yeah.
Yeah, the commercial banks take $1 billion and turn it into what, 10, 50? We don't know.
Yeah.
That's how money is made, really. Money gets printed, but the loans are really where the money comes from.
Well, they dropped the reserve ratio to 0 when COVID happened, so they could literally lend when they had $0, and like it was insane. Like, not a lot of people know that.
Yeah, no, there was no reserve requirement beyond.
Yeah, that's insane.
Basically, what it was you have to have. I think the banks made their own requirements, basically, and that had to do with flows in and out of actual cash.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I think even big businesses they're starting to become hip with how banks work, and they're trying to become their own banks, like Apple with the Apple Card and so on and so forth. They're trying to keep their own money within and offering returns on that, just so they can hold your money to loan that money. And then you got some other places too. They're basically trying to get your liquidity so they can buy bonds, just like the banks do against your
Yeah.
liquidity. So it's
Well,
actually hilarious.
Apple holds more paper than any company out there in the U.S. on their level. They've done more buybacks and issued more paper, corporate bonds than I think every other company.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I would keep an eye out. Not that I'm really hardcore equities guy, but I keep an eye on X, aka Twitter. And I know there's controversy, whatever. I don't care what your politics are, but what I'm trying to say here is that Elon is going to try to do what you're talking about, and he wants to make that a payment platform. So,
I mean,
just
he
keep
did
your
work
eyes
with
open.
PayPal, so I mean, anybody doubting that he can do it, I don't know. Or he's one of the co-founders. I don't know what they're thinking, because the guy knows money, right? Just like he knows businesses and so on and so forth. He built Tesla, and yes, he didn't create Tesla. He built Tesla to what it is, and that's the crazy part that people ignore. They're like, oh, he didn't invent Tesla. It doesn't matter. You can invent something, but unless you can build it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, artists invent things. Business people blow them up. So
Exactly.
and Elon's well connected. He's, for him to go on TV and say GFY to Disney and everybody else, he's well protected. So I wouldn't doubt him. Yeah, that's getting outside of charts, getting outside of crypto, but
kill it.
No, he's a Chad for that. That was crazy.
that's great.
That was hilarious. Oh man. I'm trying to.
Well, I got the charts up. If anybody wants to see anything else.
Yeah, I'm just massaging some price.
Tommy, I want to see your massaging, brother. I'm also doing a little massaging, but I want to see yours first.
Some of it's just kind of like in the lab type of stuff, but I'm trying to figure out where I think Bitcoin's going to put a local low in.
Like super locally?
Yeah, very, very locally.
Mm.
Kind of think it could be around here, though. Maybe another 100 points or so.
Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Close your eyes.
Well.
Let's see here.
I'm gonna need glasses by the end of the show.
Yeah, it's, what, if you guys watch The Matrix and Cypher's like watching the screens and he says, oh, all I see is blonde, brunette, and redhead. I'm so used to looking at it like, I'm like that. Except I'm not gonna go kill everybody like he did. So let's see here. Back to the liquidity. You want super local? Then what I'll do is, at least to get some data on Kingfisher, I'm going to go to high leverage. So this is where the crackheads play. And when you're trading, 100x, then you have actually, there's a little liquidity from like 43.9 to 44.1, but the lowest of that's down to like 43.3. So super local. That's
400
not very
points
much.
lower. Yeah,
it's not much. That's barely anything. So that, I don't know. I mean, most liquidity is going to be down here in like the low 40s, and actually, it's last I looked was at like 38. Now, will it make it there? I don't know. There's a lot of upward pressure. It's hard to say.
I think if you lose this top, this consolidation we put up here, like 42.8, 42.9, at this point, if you break that low, I think you're probably coming back down to 39K weekly open in that vicinity. But as long as you're holding that as support, I'm expecting higher prices for now.
I agree. Yeah, 38K is where the money is.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're still in an environment where people are going to struggle to get those perfect entries, which is what we've been seeing basically since we broke out of 30K, is that there have been opportunities, but a lot of those really key levels, the very high demand levels that people wanted, real areas of interest have been front ran. The lows have been protected. You haven't been getting perfect retests. You could make the argument that in this little vertical accumulation that you have up, there were some pretty solid retests, but you had very aggressive drops and then, very aggressive moves back up. But it's very methodical, all the lows being protected. And I want to think that, if we do happen to get a flush, I think it would be pretty damn quick. But I'm just not so certain that people are going to get that perfect retest. I think you might have to just sort of take what you can get for now.
Be more concerned if I were in levered alts right now than Bitcoin.
Yeah, same here.
Yep.
Like alts, the funding, I mean, I think they're more illiquid than they were last cycle, and funding is starting to get a little hot. But yeah, I mean, as long as Bitcoin is cooperating, though, there's no reason that altcoins should be, under too much risk, right? I think the 43K level is more of a barometer, or like 43, 44K. Those are kind of like my lines in the sand right now. Above 44, you're risk on in alts, and below 43, you should be probably risk off. Just relevant levels to the structure that we're printing here locally.
Yeah, if Bitcoin does find an equilibrium, though, let's just say we get that fall down to 38, and for whatever reason we don't see, at least for a couple months, anything happen, during that equilibrium, there's a decent chance the money will flow away from Bitcoin into alts, and there might be some short-term gains. Some puppy pumps.
Oh yeah, I'm in the camp that we're about to have a pretty gnarly altcoin season. Whenever Bitcoin does top out the rotation, the longer that it leads like this, just the more epic the eventual rotation, and just the more, like, the sheer amount of capital that's just going to rotate out of Bitcoin and into altcoins, and create a lot of opportunity. And we've been talking about that. Look at Total 2, Total 3, Ethereum. All of that kind of needs to catch up, and eventually it will. It's just a matter of timing that rotation optimally, making sure that you already have some exposure to it in case, like my colleagues are saying, we don't get any pullbacks.
TIA is such a piece of shit, man. Oh my god.
Oh,
8.5.
sorry to jump like that, but with TIA, the only concern I have price action wise is it's in a bit of a bearish formation, but it has survived that same formation recently, so it doesn't mean that it's going to go down. But on the lower time frame, let me delete this gobbledygook here, and let's roll up. Where's TIA? And this is at the beginning of the show. When I see, in fact, it's already started. So this is this is bearish.
That looks bad, bro.
It does. This is
That's
the only.
heavy.
This is the only chance it has. I'm going to steal the screen real quick. I'll give it
Max,
back.
Go for
you gotta cut it, brother. Cut it.
I mean, I've got my stop 30 cents below this. I'll just let it get hit if it gets hit. I mean, I'm in profit still, you know. My entry was right down here at this order block. So I'll give it a chance to hold at this point of control, because if we lose it, then my stop will get hit down here. And it's like, fuck it, whatever. But yeah, this is the only chance. This point of control can hold. And that's the only chance. That's literally it.
I think you're going to see, and I don't mean to be like the bearer of bad news, but high probability $8, 8.10.
Oh, I think lower, man. Honestly, I think we're coming back at this point. I think we're coming back to 750. If we lose this point of control, like this 12-hour order block right here,
Where's the middle of that FVG, Max? The big green one, lower.
770.
Yeah,
right
okay,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you lose this level right here, I mean, we can hold this point of control in this 12-hour block, but you lose this, I don't see why you don't. I do not see why you wouldn't come take out all these lows, fill in this inefficiency, like this volume gap, you know, and then maybe move up from there.
I got 745 on that.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that for sure. I mean, I'm going to give it a chance to hold here because I'm in profit, so why not? But I wouldn't mind this. Like, I would, if it takes me out of here, you know, I think my stops are like somewhere around the value area low, which is just above my entry. It's on leverage. I would happily just pick up a big spot bag down here, which would actually probably be preferable. I would like to have some spot exposure to it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is just disgusting, you know.
XRP, Max. XRP.
I'll give her a chance, but oh man.
Come on now.
Thing.
Did you fade Hagrid anon?
Dude, look at that thing.
It is coiled. Coiled. Fill the wick.
That's my largest holding.
Is it?
Yeah, XRP is my largest crypto holding.
XR Pizzle. Well, you have a friend in the audience. His name is Evan Casey. I'm not sure if you see the comments, but he said I slept in XRP.
I see that.
Yes.
Wow, look at this thing. That looks really solid. That looks real solid.
Told you guys.
Let's do it.
No. None of those bear lines, Max.
No, this is a bull line, Tucker. What are you talking about?
Okay, yeah, there you go. That's better.
That's a bull line.
All right. We'll take it.
Man, XRP. I just can't bring myself to long that.
Tommy.
It's just like I've tried longing it. If you've tried to long it since the insane blow off it had in May 2021, and I know that wasn't even to all-time high, but it's been pretty unforgiving if you weren't positioned optimally.
The most bullish case I can make for XRP is that it missed all of last bull market because of the SEC FUD. So if it plays catch up, it's going to seriously play catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't trade that perps. I just hold it.
It's
a
nightmare.
nasty thing to trade.
Man.
Terrible thing to trade.
Yeah, I mean, just disgusting price action on the low time frames. But
I wouldn't mind having a spot bag of it. I just don't know if I really believe in it. That's kind of my issue.
Oh well, it's. I mean, the who is involved in it is why. Right, and the relationships it's built over the years. And on top of that, if the SEC doesn't like it, then that means it's a threat.
That's fair.
Yeah. Looks good here, boys.
Man, I kind of think Sol might go vertical today.
It's about time.
I've been in it since 65, just on a long.
I've been in and out of it. I had a super degen scalp on it last night that I probably should have held on to, but
oh, Tommy, you let go of that?
I did.
Oh my god. Oh, I remember you sent that. Yeah.
Just a comical risk reward on that trade.
I know.
Here's
Did
my
it?
own.
Would it have stopped you out before
I
before going?
think so. Yeah, I think so. But I probably would have just like held on to it because it wasn't a big position.
Yeah.
Here's my
But
only
I'm
issue.
looking at things like Matic and Soul right now. They kind of look like they're about to go ballistic.
Here's my only issue with Soul.
That's FUD, Max. That's FUD.
It's my only issue.
So you're saying we still have another 10 or 15% candle to the upside, huh?
I'm saying that if it's following the ETH fractal, maybe $80 on a wick.
No. We can go higher than that. You got to dream bigger, Max.
Triple digits, brother.
I mean, what do we think about this? It kind of looks the same. Everybody wants to compare Soul to ETH, except for the drawdown periods, right?
Except people want to hold ETH. Or people want to hold Soul. Sorry, I'm just shitting on ETH before it eventually pumps, but
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna
actually
keep doing
gonna
it
It's had a
as
pretty
long
good,
as it's underperforming Soul.
Yeah, Matic looks really good too, man. Jeez. It's about to blow past that high it set at 98 cents. It's about to moon past it.
What, Matic?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Might be about to rip really, really hard.
I like 120.
I had that marked out as well. First stop,
yeah.
like
Nothing
$1.
like some quant confluence, man, to validate yourself.
Well, I think a lot of alts are like, if you were to overlay the Celestia structure that it ripped from, its last basing structure, and then the following high that it set, a lot of altcoins are yet to rip, but printing the exact same pattern.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, man, then like Matic can rip really hard. Soul can rip really hard.
XRP can rip really hard.
Probably.
Tucker,
XRP will do all of its bull run gains in like 2 weeks.
are we going to talk about this or are we going to ignore this?
We're going to ignore it.
Okay.
For sure.
I pretend I do
know.
not see it.
I don't know.
I think the structure looks more bullish on Sol right now than it did on ETH back in the day.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. Let's take a look at it then.
This sounds good. Let's take a look.
Great. Let's take a look at that.
More bullish. No
Yeah.
pullbacks. Sol just did not give you the like month of sideways and down. Like it just didn't.
You could be right. But I see it. It's hard not to see it.
I also see it. I also see it. I think we just front run 100 by like $10 maybe. Get everybody real horny for $100 Sol and then just wrecked.
Dude, what is ETH doing? Move.
Dude, I know.
Go.
I've got Soul targets at 73, 84.50, and 95.50.
Well, we're at
So I'm
73 right now, brother.
Oh, you know what? That's a lie. My first target is actually 75, 74.95.
Okay, good.
You're going to see a lot of alts move inversely correlated to ETH because a lot of people are short ETH right now and long beta alts. That's why they're moving in that manner. And TIA is kind of like the biggest example of that.
Mm-hmm.
You can see whenever ETH moves up, like yesterday, TIA was just going straight down while ETH was going up. I was coping because I was long TIA.
Oh man, look at that. Right off the 1618. It's over.
No, sir, man. No, sir. It's going higher. I think it is at least. We'll see if it gets a reaction at like 8.5.
That's what I like right up in there.
If it does, probably a little bit of
suck that
chop
back
up,
up, man.
chop it up, and then rip it.
Let's put the lifetime on. Oh, Jesus. I know you love the ones that look like that, Tommy. The lifetime volume
Oh my
POC.
god.
Is it $2?
Look, man, you don't have to air out the NASDAQ volume profile like that, but
No. Wait, really?
yeah, it is. We won't talk
Oh.
about that though.
We won't talk about it yet. No. We want to talk about equities at all?
And what's there to talk about, man? They basically U-turned another midweek dip. They're
Yep.
just chopping it up.
Dude, this is what we've said. Bull chop in the end of year.
Yeah, I'm hoping Nvidia gives me a tiny little pullback and I'm gonna long it, but
Nvidia, eh? Nvidia, you say?
Jesus, they picked the worst day to be blowing leaves when I had the window open. I don't know if you guys can hear that.
Ever so slightly.
Let me know if it gets obnoxious. I'll turn it off.
No, you're good. You're good. Inflection.
I think
Where's
coin
our-
calls are good here, guys. I'm gonna be
Yeah?
honest. Yeah, I do.
Where's coin?
Especially if you think the coins are going higher in the short term. Like that's probably gonna, because that is the Sol price action, man, and Sol is at $78 now. Probably implies a $200 coin.
Yeah. Where's 200? Yeah. What's the yeah, we got the dip. Damn it. I saw it at 132 this morning. I should have aped in. Yeah, as soon as you clear 150, it's probably just gonna suck up. Where's the let's see.
I mean, we're a god candle on Bitcoin away from Coinbase trading above $200 by like next week. I remember when we were charting out the Sol price action on it. I had it going to like 210 by mid-December, and I was like, "There's no effing way that happens."
I mean, if you see Bitcoin pressuring 50K, that you're going to get that, Tommy. Like, no question. No question.
Sol.d, yes, that's what I'm saying. That's alpha. This is alpha. Saw this in the chat. It's one I've looked at before. Sol dominance, baby. Here we go.
Maybe ETH is cucked. That's painful.
I don't love what I'm seeing with ETH BTC. Honestly.
Well, if alts rip, would ETH rip too? If they're kind of inversely correlated right now, positioning. I think that's an interesting little thought at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Is it time to throw the towel in on ETH altogether and just ape Sol?
I actually think it's the exact opposite.
I know.
Like, it's time to take money out of Sol and give ETH a chance here.
Nah. Fuck.
I have two theories, man. Like either ETH is about to like giga rip and catch up to Bitcoin probably within like a week and a half, or this was the top on ETH and you're gonna see it like wipe bigly over the next 2 weeks. Like the type of thing that ETH likes to do where it wipes out the 3 drive longers and then goes vertical after.
Yeah.
Maybe something like that. But I do think like if you got a wipe on ETH, that's the bottom. Like that consolidation that ETH forms after will be the bottom of ETH BTC.
I mean, it
The
would probably be
bottom.
like a wipe like that.
Yeah. Well, I think it'd maybe be a little bit bigger than that, but
What?
Here's where I struggle. Here's where I struggle with that. I'm stealing it back.
Damn it, Max.
Sorry. So
I'm
sorry.
kidding.
Here's where I struggle with this. We've just finally broken out. I don't really see a good case to be made for this basically just being a deviation. I just don't at this point. I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense. I think best case, you get some sort of fake little like fake little drop back in, and this is your deviation play long off of 2200, like this level. I don't really see the case to be made for like an aggressive drop back down here. We're finally just breaking out of a 500-day accumulation. I don't think contextually that makes a lot of sense to flush super deep.
What does an overlay of the previous year's high look like on price right now?
Previous
Like
year's
this
high.
impulse.
Oh, like this?
The impulse that we had to 2000 back in April.
Oh, I see. Starting from where?
Can you zoom in? We're gonna need a more granular candle base. Yeah. Starting from that swing high that we put in like the very beginning of April.
Like here.
A little bit further.
Here?
Yeah. Although I don't know that I would think
maybe
that
not that
bleeds
much
like
bleed.
this.
Yeah.
I just think it could top similarly.
I'm quitting crypto if this happens.
Oh man.
Well, I can tell you right now, at least the algo does not. If there is a pullback, it doesn't look like it's going to be a big one.
I am reassured by that because it fits my bias.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Sounds good to me.
Here's daily time frame. This daily order block should be safe here, guys. Like this, it's also right at the breakout spot from this wedge, right? So this high, we finally break out. We set a daily order block right here. This is protection. Like I could for sure see this getting hit, like sub 2300, but then I think you go straight up in a straight line. And this kind of aligns with this vertical accumulation as well that we've been watching. This pattern right here, a vertical accumulation. Here, I'll remove this just so it's not so overwhelming. Like these lows should remain respected. And I think that they will be. Here, I'll even go to the 12-hour.
My bias is up. I actually kind of like that plan Tucker laid out where you sweep the 3 drive. I just don't know how much probability I assign to it at this point because I do agree it looks more than likely that ETH is broken out. And I am expecting altcoins to go higher. So I'm not looking for shorts on ETH, but
Why are you looking for shorts on ETH, Tommy? You're not allowed to short.
That would imply 2175-ish. Would be a full sweep of the 3 drive.
No. 21. No, you're not getting it. You're
Max,
a sideline. You're a sideline or a coper. You're not.
I am not a sideline.
Yes, you are a sideline or coper. You will get 22.95 and you will be appreciative of that dump. Okay, maybe 22.80. You will get 22.80 and you will be happy to bid it on leverage. That's it. That's all you're getting.
That's fair. I'll take it.
That's it. Is TIA did it take me out yet? God, this is such a piece of junk, man.
It's good tech, Max. It's good tech.
I honestly think we're going to set the low at 8.5. Unless Bitcoin has a wipe, then it could go really deep. But more think that TIA is like a week ahead of the market, honestly, where like a bunch of alts are grinding up against their previous high, like where TIA was last Friday, and about to print that structure. And so TIA is probably in the midst of forming its low before its next leg higher. If your bias is that we're going to have more altcoin outperformance this month. Right? Like I see a lot of alts that are exactly where TIA was last Friday.
Yeah.
All right, let's have some fun with this then.
Oh, I already have.
Tommy, let's see the massaging. Come on now.
My charts are such a mess right now, Tucker.
Yeah, YouTube ain't ready.
You're not ready for this, Tucker. You are simply not ready for this, my man.
I see it.
Yes, you do. You do see it. Yes, you see it.
Yeah, there it is. That's what I'm talking. No, don't shrink it now. It's fine.
I'm just fitting it. I'm not doing anything.
All right, there it is. All right.
All right, you can take
Yeah.
95. That's all you're getting.
Everybody shorts $80. We distribute at $80. What did you see what happened?
Yeah, I saw something. What was that?
The balloons and whatever happened again.
What is that?
Dude, was that real? Max,
I saw it out of the corner of my. I swear I'm not doing that. I would tell you. I swear.
It's when I did something. Did anybody else see that? Am I
Yes, I saw that.
hang on. Oh my god, that was so. Did you guys see that in the comments section? Can you let me know? I'm gonna rewatch the YouTube.
Tucker,
video.
look at this RSI as well, like the matchup of these two fractals.
Yeah, we're just getting up there.
But that means that Tommy should have held his soul ape because it's going to $95.
Yeah, probably.
How about this? I held my soul ape spot from 27. Come on. So what is that? 97 and then it's over?
Well, who knows? We'll see if TIA can be saved here, which I still think this is like the last stand, which is, I mean, it's basically, this is your last stand right here.
Everybody saw it. Everybody saw what I'm talking about. Look at the comments.
Yeah.
But it's funny that you're trying to do hand signals thinking that will make it happen again. I don't know what happened. That was so weird, guys.
We'll see. I think this fractal might actually play out. Like we need to see if TIA can get saved here or if it's just Goblin.
Goblin Town.
I don't know. It's got to hold here. End of discussion.
I mean, what does TIA to $20 after this pullback look like for Soul?
I would think that it probably does this. If we lose this level, I think you come down here to like sub $8. If you lose that level, and then I think you just do this, like literally just straight up for Soul. Let's assume it follows it perfectly, and it does this. Maybe you retest like 65. I don't know, maybe 145, 150. But we'll see what TIA does. Like if it is leading, if there is some signal there, we'll have to see what happens.
If we get 150 Soul, I'm going to be a happy man. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, I'm still sticking with 850 TIA for now, and then once it hits 850, then I'll have to reassess. But because it's on fire, and I don't have a ton of history to look at. It's such a new coin.
Yeah.
If you stayed this long, I do have a little bit of alpha to dump on you. I like the coin big time to return to its highs here pretty soon.
You got a chart, Tommy?
Charting, man. You just got to ape.
Charting? What are you talking about? Charting?
I got a chart for you.
Oh, yeah.
To the highs, man. Send it back.
What is that? A 100% move from here almost?
Yes, it is.
Punt. Absolute punt on leverage.
The interesting thing about big time is that the float is 3%. The FDV is already like 32 billion or like 25 billion. So, or not that high. I take that back. It's like 2.5 billion FDV. So, people are going to accuse this coin of being a like VC shit coin, and it is. It will be. But first, almost none of the supply is circulating. It's probably all in the hands of people with an active incentive to just pump the crap out of it. GMT, if you guys remember, it went to like 25, 30 billion FDV. I think big time can make a similar type of move here over the next few weeks, which is almost like a 10x from here.
Are you punting spot or are you just punting perps?
I'm punting perps for what I believe will be a return to the high and then a bleed back to the low. Maybe I'm being greedy, but I'm going to buy spot on the after the impulse is completed.
I like it.
But I bought some at 54 cents last night because I do think that's probably, if that's not a low, it's probably wrecked.
Yeah.
Maybe you get like a lower time frame sweep, but I like this one to go back to the highs, bleed back to the lows again, and then rip parabolically.
A little deviation, bro.
I mean, if you get back above this cluster, it's over. You get back above 60 cents, 59 cents. Yeah.
Send it. It'll be quick too. I mean, if you saw the way it pumped the other day, it went up like 50% in a day. So we can do it. We can do it very, very quickly. But I have some take profits set in like the low 90s. So that would be a nice little win that I would just build some spot bags with probably after hitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it would have to be a significant push from whales basically for that to happen, because that trajectory is dirty right now. It does not look good.
It's a dirty, dirty coin.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's got like what, 3 billion FDV. You probably never even heard of it until like the last week or 2 weeks ago.
3 bill FDV is crazy.
Never heard it until about 2 minutes ago.
I think the circulating market cap right now is extremely low. Let me get the exact number for you guys. Or the circulating market cap, it is. It's like 85 million, but the FDV is 2.8 billion.
Dude, when unlocks?
They're gonna pump it.
When are the unlocks though?
That's a good question.
Dude. That's bad.
Oh yeah, it's literally gonna go down like 95% at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
short term.
I'm not advocating for a long-term hold.
I'm liking short term 45, and it could go down to like 20. I mean, that's brutal. That's just basically you're talking about, gamble style.
Oh yeah,
Max, what is happening right now? What are you doing?
What do you know about this?
Max has been massaging the whole time.
I'm trying to help Tommy's case.
Bitcoin bottom.
I don't know. I mean, it's not going to look like this, right? But the idea of price basically just nuking through a range low, and then what happens when it kind of buoys back above it.
You know what fractal I absolutely loved was the inverse Bitcoin bottom on Matic back in the day, a few months ago. You remember that one?
I do.
Of course.
Matic to 4 cents. God. Good time.
Market was wrong.
Market was wrong.
Matic belonged at 4 cents.
Yes. Oh man.
All right, boys. Well, we've been going for about 2 hours. Oh yeah, did you sign up AZTV? I got to check in with Ed. I think it's, when's the last day of it? I don't even remember. Let me check right now. I literally don't even remember. Let's check this out. Okay, hang on. Share screen. All right, here it is. Here's the giveaway. You can find it on our website. Looks like we got a little bit of time left. We're letting Edward do his thing. He's running it on the back, and we've had a lot of signups, which has been good. But yeah, if you sign up, here's what you can win: 5 winners, 1-year membership in our Discord, and some of the new products that we'll be launching within that 1 year. 6-month plus some Bitcoin, 4-month membership plus Bitcoin, 2-month membership plus Bitcoin, and then 2-month membership plus some Bitcoin. You just got to put in your name and your email. And then when you enter too, you guys that watch the show, you probably will get some extra entries because there's some secret passwords. But yeah, you guys should definitely enter becausebitcoin.com/giveaway. Looks like we still have a little bit of time. Here, let me drop this in here for you guys. If anybody wants to join, feel free. But yeah, guys, we have been going for about 2 hours. So I say we call it here. What do you guys say?
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, it's good.
Cool. All right, well, let's do what we normally do, guys. If you have not liked the video yet, please consider liking the content. It really helps us grow. Also, if you are new here, this is Market Check brought to you by Because Bitcoin. We are live 5 days per week, Monday through Friday at 10:50 a.m. Eastern time. With this normal cast, well, actually, today that doesn't apply. We had a special guest, Mr. Algo Cowboy. So everybody check out his content. He's the owner of Algo Factory, LLC. Great trader, great stuff, and he can help you potentially program some of your own algos, it sounds like. So pretty cool stuff. Big thank you to you, Algo Cowboy, for joining us today on Market Check. You are always welcome, so hopefully we can have you back again soon. Check in with you as price action continues, get some updates. But yeah, guys, please consider liking the video and subscribing. Furthermore, if you enjoy this, you will certainly love our Discord. Check out the first link in the description below, becausebitcoin.com/premium, where you can sign up for our Discord. We do 2 hours per day of live private voice calls with our entire Because Bitcoin team and community. We also have an active positions channel where we share and document basically everything that we are doing. So me, Tucker, Tommy, Will, Jackus, and Wabi share all of our active positions and premium analysis. So again, if you really enjoyed this, you will certainly get a absolute value add, love it all type of benefit from the Discord. And we are offering you, just for a little bit longer, we are offering you guys 30 days for free. It's not going to continue for that much longer. The Discord has like tripled in size this quarter, and we want to ensure quality. So if you want to jump on that during the holiday season while we're offering it, the link across the bottom of the screen will give you 30 days for free. So again, the first link in the description, and then when you go to checkout, use free month for 30 days for free. Also, we see Algo Factory right here, man. It's their YouTube channel, Algo Factory. Check them out, guys. Got some great content, so give them a look, give them a follow. And again, thank you guys so much for being here. I'm going to kick it over to Tommy to say a final farewell, as always. But thanks so much for being here, guys. Please like and subscribe.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Max. Not to shout out the Discord again, but we have been killing it, guys, and you can get in there for free still. So there's really no downside to being able to join and just seeing what we're about. And yeah, I mean, the whole team has just been absolutely crushing this market. And that was the case before we were in up only conditions, right? I mean, I think, it's easy for people to step in and just long everything when it's going up. And another thing entirely to be positioned before it happens and, managing these positions every single day and et cetera. So I just wanted to say that really quickly. But yeah, guys, no, I mean, great Friday show. I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend, had a great week. It was a little bit low volatility, I guess, this week. Altcoins had some good vol, but Bitcoin pretty much did everything on the weekend. So maybe we get something like that again, where crypto gives the meat of the move that was intended for next week here over the next few days, and not while legacy markets are open. We know how it loves to do that. But that's all from me. That's all from us, guys. Big shout out to Algo Cowboy again for coming on. And y'all have a great rest of your week and a phenomenal weekend. Thanks again.